Each week I set up my mic and record a podcast, and it's a ritual more than anything that I've done for many years now. And sometimes I miss a week occasionally, but usually I record a podcast every week. You may not think about the format of this podcast. In fact, to be perfectly frank, I don't really listen to podcasts anymore. I listen very occasionally to a model rail podcast if they have on a guest that is someone that I might find interesting, but I get very tired with various formatting and audio characteristics, which are pretty common in today's podcasting, particularly because, I don't know, I get a sense that I do a kind of editing which very few people do anymore. I'm probably at some stage going to have to change how I record these podcasts because it is reliant on a very old Mac and a piece of software which I'd need to move to a Windows machine in order to continue to use. That software is Levelator, and Levelator actually provides a lot of the audio nuances in the timbre, let's say, of my voice. And I don't know. I've done it this way for so many years now. It'll be difficult not to use Levelator in the future. And my feeling is probably if this laptop finally dies on me, I might return to a Windows laptop to do the editing of the podcast, which I used to do 15 years ago, I guess. I've been doing podcasts for many years now. I did get into audiobooks for a period of time, but probably more than a year ago, I cancelled my Audible subscription and lost my Audible books through that. But I'd listened to Audible for probably about 2 years, and this was probably the beginning of the end of my listening to podcasts, maybe 2 years prior. But I can't remember. I mean, I think when I was in the San Francisco Bay Area, I probably didn't listen to podcasts towards the end. There's something about advertising and about the format of podcasts and about just a variety of things where a format became very popular probably about 5 years ago that I just didn't have any time for. So I've been thinking of these podcasts without explicitly referring to them as microcasts, because they are fundamentally what audio I can get out in 5 to 8 minutes at most, sometimes 2 or 3 minutes. And it really is probably a function of my parental mind that these podcasts don't go on for longer. I used to, when I recorded podcasts maybe at the start of Long Funk, which was still pretty well midway through my podcasting time frame, but I used to have maybe 3 or 4 stories that I would put in each podcast. And it's interesting actually going back and listening to the first few Long Funks just to get a sense of the format as it was then versus the format as it is now. But I think part of these microcasts is just delivering something which obviously the listener base here is very receptive to. I got an email from a listener, not an email, actually a Facebook message from a listener asking if I could show my Battle of Waterloo medal, which is hidden away somewhere. I'm probably going to get it out sometime in the next year or two just to know where it is. But that's the nature of my life, that a lot of my life is actually squirreled away, either in my bookshelves, which are eminently accessible to me if I choose to look through them, or just hidden away, because a lot of my stuff I just store as the nature of the way I live my life. So sometime I will get the Plotnik's medals out of storage. I probably have a photo of Plotnik somewhere on one of my hard drives that I could send to this listener, just as indicative of the medals and indicative of the man who once owned the medals. But podcasts are a strange form for me now, because really I have friends or co-workers that are podcasters, and periodically, very periodically now, I might go listen to one of their podcasts, but I don't know. For me, it's a headspace. It's getting a particular piece of information out. And as my week goes past, I think to myself, what would be a good topic for a future recording? What would be a good idea? I mean, I certainly came to the Anzac recording recently like that. It was like, this is a perfect podcast topic. Anyway, if we use the term microcast to describe these podcasts, I think we probably get a better understanding of what I'm trying to do, maybe. Tom Barbalet in Las Vegas, Nevada, signing out.